what am I talking about today? Something that I came across a video of someone breaking up, and in the comments of the video, the most liked comment was, if they loved you, they would have stayed, or if they really loved you, they would have stayed. And what you notice when you start looking at comments on social media, the most liked comments are always extremely singular. They're almost like the more singular they are, the more likes they get. And what I mean by that is they're simple. They make a statement that's purely one way. There's no nuance, there's no depth, there's no context to the situation. It's what people tend to latch onto when they're going through pain. When you're going through pain or you're going through suffering or something like this, it's easier to make sense of reality by forcing some kind of narrative. And it's soothing, right? It's soothing to think things are that simple. It's much more difficult to work through the layers that have led someone to that place. So just as the example that I used then, breaking up with people, there's endless reasons that people end relationships. Of course, one of them is falling out of love. That in itself also comes with lots of added context, but you can love someone and have a different life path, right? Maybe you want different things. So when you met each other, you start a relationship, and then further down the line, you realize one of you wants to live in a different country. Maybe one of you wants children and the other one doesn't. And that doesn't mean there is no magical off switch for love, okay? There's no, like, I'm done loving you. People can disassociate. It doesn't mean they actually stop loving. The love gets buried deeper inside them if they're disassociating, or maybe if they're avoidant. It's essentially running from the overwhelm of your emotions and your situation. And then they'll often place that overwhelm on a relationship, only to realize actually the relationship triggered that sensation, right? The relationship brought that out of them. And now they're going to have to go and deal with that again at some point. If you have an underlying system, in the case of avoidance, it's your nervous system. It's your nervous system reacting to emotion and overwhelm. That is just going to occur again in the future. So really, there's just endless different contexts to which someone breaking up does not mean that if they truly loved you, they would have stayed. Now, that makes sense to someone who views things through the lens of love and growth and acceptance and groundedness and awareness and these kind of things. But if someone's triggered through a trauma they've had, if someone's overwhelmed with their life, all of these things can make you withdraw from the openness, the capacity, the stability, all of the components that actually make up a relationship. So this is a difference. Relationships are a choice, okay? So you can definitely love someone, you can completely adore someone, you can be in any of these situations, but being in a relationship with someone is an ongoing choice. And if you stop making that choice, it doesn't mean you stop loving the other person. That's one of the examples. Why I'm talking about this is I've experienced in the past reading comments, watching posts, and what they do is they feed into your state of being. So when I've previously been more unstable or feeling insecure, or going through pain, whatever it might be, the algorithm is going to feed you more and more of this content, which plays on your pain, right? And it kind of fuels it. It's like this toxic fire, or like a toxic recycling system that, I don't know, where your emotions are bubbling away in this witch's brew of toxicity, basically, of pain, of suffering, of self-loathing, of insecurity. You're seeing these reels, and then maybe it's about body image issues. You're scrolling through them and they're just making you feel worse, or whatever it might be. The thing that, if you're in a state of pain and you unconsciously feed that fire, if you're not well, if you're feeling unwell inside, if you're unstable, whatever the situation might be, you're going to unconsciously end up watching those reels for longer, engaging more in that content, and then the algorithm, of course, inevitably feeds you more of that content. So there is a snowball effect here. There's a snowball effect in the sense that you can build your own feed to reflect more what you want from life. So maybe more grounded people focus on growth, people focus on love and understanding, but it's a very slippery slope. It's what social media seems to thrive on far more, is hatred and pain and suffering and insecure people. And you get this in the comments as well. You'll see anonymous accounts, random meme accounts, and the comments are always singular. Men suck, women suck, gender wars, homophobia, racism, politics, like they're all, break them down, people. Like they're just like one extreme or someone else on the other extreme. And it's always people fueling this endless fire that sucks people in. There's no gain to be had there. You're losing yourself in that weakness, in that feeling of insecurity that you have. So it's important to protect yourself from that, because it's so easy to do unconsciously. And the narratives that we create when we're trying to convince ourselves of things, when we know actually that's not true. The issue is when you're reading things, even if they're not your opinion, you are taking that information in, right? So when you read a comment, you have no idea who this person is or what life they lead or, anything like that. Would you even like them as a person? Would you even give them 2 seconds of your attention as a person? You're going to read a comment, and the part of you that is suffering latches onto that, it fuels that narrative that makes it easier, but actually stunts your growth. It keeps you in this just lower level of being unwell, where you need to convince yourself this had to happen for a reason, this is why things are the way they are. Whereas the difficult thing to do and the right thing to do for yourself, okay, and for truth, if you want to align with truth and the way things are, is look at the whole situation. And people just struggle to do this. There's, of course, loads of people who don't struggle, but social media doesn't want that. This is why it's such a pain. It's so damaging on people. I'm certain the damage of social media outweighs the benefits, or maybe that's me being cynical, but I think you can just so blatantly see the negative side effects are so tangible compared to the benefits, right? And you can tell this from the fact that the people who have designed these platforms don't use them themselves. They don't let family members use them. It's because it's feeding. You're just like the ultimate mindless consumer when you're scrolling. What is happening in that moment? Where are you consciously? You're not there, okay? You're literally hypnotized. An interesting way to view it is, imagine looking at yourself while you're scrolling like TikTok for half an hour or an hour or something. You're hypnotized. You aren't there. You're not conscious. And that's an hour of your life every day. That's days of your life. Then it's weeks, then it's months, then it's years of your life that are just gone. So that you can just watch adverts essentially for these companies to make loads of money. And they would, if they could, they would put chips in all of our brains and 100% just funnel us feeds of ads. But then they'd have to work out how to balance our physical productivity with, find the perfect balance between keeping us good consumers, but also while we contribute to the economy and the system, which is obviously quite bleak, but it's true. It's just true. You can sense we're already on that path. We're already living in this dystopian reality. So I think just remind yourself that things are never as simple as your pain wants them to be. Your pain always wants to make things simple, which denies your potential for growth. Okay, whenever you go through an experience where you suffer, there's an opening, and within that suffering, you can put the pieces together, come to your own conclusion, look at the situation you're in, look at both sides. Imagine a circle with 360 degrees. There's always these endless sides and different ways you can view things. So come to your own conclusion. Don't let pain decide for you. As soon as you're simplifying something because you feel uncomfortable engaging in that topic, that's your sign, okay? That's your sign that actually this is something I need to lean into, not lean away from. And this applies to so many different things in life. Insecurity, anxiety, there's a classic one, it's paralysis of doing the very thing that relieves you of the anxiety. My experience of anxiety was a refusal to engage in life. I was always thinking about life. I was constantly in this kind of step back. I guess some people might call it disassociation. Once you just step into life and you go, what happens, happens. Whatever happens will happen, okay? You will just die one day. Anxiety isn't going to save you. Anxiety is not going to stop you from doing things. It's stopping you from living your life. It's stopping you from enjoying your life, from being who you know you are, from being the person you're meant to be. And the only way to break that is make a decision. And there's no right or wrong. There just are decisions, okay? You're better off when you're in a state of anxiety, just making a choice and sticking by it and then following that path. Instead of holding back and being in this kind of, I don't know what to do, engage. Whatever form that takes, just engage. Thank you for watching, as always. And yeah, I'll catch you soon in another video. And I wish you all the best.